Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. When we suffer through infidelity, it's important to have a support group you can turn to. A group of people who's going to tell it how the heck it is. Let's give some tough love today on rSpace. Up first, sometimes there's a reason they call them childhood friends. They should stay in your childhood. My ex, female 22, cheated on me, male 21, with my childhood best friend, male 21. So here's my story about how I lost the love of my life, C, and my best friend, J, all in one day. It all started when I met C in grade 5 and I had a crush on her for years, never gaining the talk to her or anything, as I was just figuring out these feelings. Plus, I knew I was an introvert from the beginning, barely having any real friends besides a small group of 4, one of them being my best friend, J. We did everything a kid could do together. Go camping, sometimes I didn't like, but was fun with him. Play video games, board games, sleepovers, all those things, and thought of him as a brother. It was he who had the courage to add her to our friends group. We grew closer as we got older. It was only at grade 9 that me and C were starting to get closer as friends. During high school, when we were both in grade 10, I finally gained the courage to ask C out, and to my surprise and happiness, she said yes. Our first date was amazing as I took her out to her favorite restaurant, which wasn't really expensive, but did have a big bill. Then, we went skating as she has always loved that, and that was one of the best memories I've ever had. Over the next 4 years, we had the best relationship, or at least what I thought was the best. It was only during year 3 of our relationship that C wanted to go to the next level, and so did I. But I was just so nervous about it that I never realized what was happening between my girlfriend and boyfriend until it was too late. I was also stressed from the SATs that I didn't have enough time to spend with her either. It all came to a screeching halt when I not only passed my SATs. My nervousness about having sex went away with the letter, and I walked to her apartment to tell her the great news. I entered the elevator to go to her floor and walked to her door when I noticed it was open slightly, and so in a panic, I opened the door myself, not thinking straight and thinking she was in trouble, but found nothing. I walked around the apartment, but eventually I noticed the trail of clothes leading up to her bedroom door. If those weren't obvious, then the moans and screams of pleasure were. That was until I noticed the jacket on the ground, the very same one I gave Jay on his 18th birthday. I saw only red when I thought that and barged into her room where they were both shocked at my interruption. But C soon screamed in terror as I pulled Jay off of her and started beating him. I was never a violent person growing up, but this rage and betrayal turned me into someone I hope I could never see again. It's been 2 weeks since I caught Jay and C together, and I've been ignoring every message they sent me, every call and voicemail they made, and even ignored their family's attempts at getting me to speak to them. I couldn't stand to be in the same room with them anymore. Every time I think of them, I just remember that day when I caught them. Hope you guys have any advice about what I should do next with them, because I don't. Asking for advice from the community? You're gonna get it. Web822 starts us off. Tell mutual friends why you broke up. If you live in the same place, you will encounter it somehow. Maybe they'll just admit they're having an affair and stay together. You have to keep moving forward. Get therapy if you want, find a new girl, attend social events, etc. Make sure you have a support system. The best revenge is a good life. Stick to your word. Mindless Ad 4498 says, tell everyone who has a close relationship with the three of you why you broke up. Your ex-girlfriend and ex-friend, I hope, may try to change the narrative and make you look bad. Also, go no contact with both of them. Block them. They're not worth your time. Your ex-girlfriend is a you-know-what, and your friend is not any better. You dodged a bullet. You're young and will find a better lover and better friends. Also, don't let people try to make you forgive what they did to you. You don't have to be the bigger person with people who have no morals. I hope you get better, honey. I know it's hard. I think the comments make some sense. Tell the rest of your friends the truth. Then everyone can see who they truly are. Nothing says you have to speak to the two of them again. Cut your losses. You killed 2 dirty birds with 1 stone. You found out who your true friends are. Move on and up. Quality friends over quantity. Have you ever caught your boyfriend with your partner? What did you do? How did it affect the rest of the friend group? Up next, adulting. It's not for everyone. You can't cheat adulthood. I, 32 male, was with my ex, 29 female, for 7 years, engaged for 2. She moved in with the mutual friend she was cheating on me with the night she gave me the ring back. My ex first displayed troubling behavior 4 years ago, not long after we first moved in together. I received a random messenger request from a stranger who told me my ex and her boyfriend had been sending inappropriate messages to each other over Discord. She provided screenshots, and it was her talking about how she felt we don't match, as she felt like she was in a prison with me, and that if things progressed between the two of them, she'd be open to moving to a new city to live with him. I confronted her, and she gave me all the apologies, assurances, and words of affection to convince me that it was a mistake and that she truly wanted me, that we were soulmates. I believed her, unfortunately. Fast forward a few years, and we had survived COVID as a couple. We'd moved into a house together, had 3 pets together, got engaged, and had lived through a sudden, tragic death of her brother. During this time, our relationship had been pushed to its limits. We had fought a lot, but couples counseling combined with her being diagnosed with bipolar disorder and getting mood stabilizer meds had improved things significantly, to the point where fights had been non-existent for over a year. We had a close group of 3 friends, Ivan, Ben, and Vin. Ivan and Vin were brother-sister, and Ben was Ivan's best friend and was also dating his sister. Ivan had been in a relationship that was falling apart, and it ended just over a month before mine did. Not long after Ivan broke up with his partner, my ex told me that her feelings for me were changing, that it might be related to her meds, and she identified more with her unmedicated self. I was at a loss for words, but told her I'd help her work through it and we'd come out stronger. After this point is when more troubling behavior started. At Ivan's birthday, we all went to an arcade bar and then a karaoke bar, and it was a fun time. My ex told me the next day that she had done a line of coke with Ivan at some point, which shocked me. My ex was a big stoner and enjoyed partaking in rave drugs like MDMA, mushrooms, acid, etc., as did our group of friends, but I had grown out of it by this point. But she had never done cocaine as far as I know. I later learned she had been doing lines with Ivan all night behind my back. As the month progressed, she started spending a lot of time with Ivan. I was okay with this, as we had all been friends in a friend group for 5+ years, and my ex had many male friendships, and it was never an issue. This time, though, it felt different. She was messaging him all the time, hiding her phone from me, etc. And the big red flag was when she told me she was going out for drinks with her friends after her serving shift, but then ghosted me and showed up at her home late the next morning, telling me she had spent the night at Ivan's talking and chilling. I confronted her and received the same assurances I had a few years ago. She loved me and only me, we were soulmates, etc. A week or 2 later, we had made plans for a romantic dinner and evening after she finished her shift, but she messaged me that she was going to Ivan's instead to make a fancy dinner to bring home, and she didn't get home until long past midnight. At this point, I was livid, but all I got was gaslighting. I didn't trust her, I was being jealous, selfish, didn't believe that she loved me, all the classic stuff. I accepted it, again thinking the 5-year friendship bond and 7-year relationship bond were proof that maybe she was right. A week later, she seemed off. I asked her what was wrong, and she told me she didn't love me anymore. The wedding was off, and that she was going to spend the night at Ben and Vin's place so I could have space and start packing up my stuff. That was the last time I saw or spoke to her in person. The following days, numerous things occurred that suggested something stunk, and so I asked her where she was, what she was doing. She told me she was at Ivan's, and that she as an adult has her reasons. At this point, I reached out to Ben and Vin to ask what was going on, as I felt I was being lied to. Ben came over minutes after I contacted him to tell me everything. According to Ben, and Vin later, the day my ex told me her feelings for me were changing, she also told the same thing to them, but added at the end, "And I have feelings for Ivan." The fact that my ex kept hanging out with Ivan made them feel uncomfortable, but they were at a loss of what to do because of the friendship family bonds. However, a week before things ended, we had all gone to a show together, and I went home to take care of the dog while my ex, Ivan, and Vin spent the night at Ivan's place. Vin woke up at one point and saw my ex and Ivan spooning and moving around beneath a blanket nearby. At that point, Vin and Ben gave Ivan an ultimatum that he had to end whatever was going on, or they'd tell me. Ivan told my ex to either dump me or stop talking to him, and my ex dumped me the next day and moved in with Ivan while telling me she was going to stay at Ben and Vin's. A day or 2 later, she told Vin that her and Ivan were now dating. After that confession, Ben blocked my ex and Vin told her their friendship was over. I messaged my ex shortly after learning all of this and told her I knew everything. She denied cheating and used the same "I'm an adult and made adult decisions" excuse when I asked how it's possible there was no cheating when she moved in with Ivan the night she gave me the ring back and told Vin that they were now a couple. This all happened 3 months ago, and despite the pain and suffering I endured, I am at peace knowing I dodged a bullet. and that had it not happened now, it could have happened years down the road with a marriage, kids to sort out. To this day, I still have not spoken to or heard from my ex, although Ben and Vin still talk to me and say they also haven't spoken to her or Ivan either. Wow. She's an adult and makes her own decisions at the cost of the people who care for her. What she's doing is not being an adult at all. She's being quite childish. Unfortunately for you, you did take her back even though she proved time and time again to be untrustworthy. But thankfully, the relationship didn't go on and you didn't trap yourself into a marriage full of lies. Do you have any thoughts on whether OP should have left earlier? Would you trust your partner after that? Next, mourn the death of a future you thought you had, and then live abundantly in the present. Stuck in the pain since D-Day. D-Day was in April. I, 32 male, and my now ex-girlfriend, 29 female, had been in a relationship for 3 years and lived together for the last year and a half. In March, she met affair partner during a brief business trip abroad. They had sex, and after she returned home, my ex and affair partner continued secretly seeing each other for 3 weeks. I felt something was off, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt. However, I could only endure so much gaslighting before I started looking for the real reason things felt different. I found evidence confirming her betrayal, and I kicked her out of the house that night. Since then, she's initiated intermittent calls and texts, most of which were about picking up her belongings. She says she wants to be friends, which is delusional considering how our relationship ended. She also claims affair partner and her are now dating. Maybe she's in an affair fog, who knows? I've had moments of weakness where I considered doing the pick-me dance. Thankfully, my family persuaded me to move on. I deserve better, so reconciliation is off the table. The whole experience has been devastating and I'm having a hard time moving on. Before she cheated, I believed we were building a future together and was all in on us as a couple. I recently had a few sessions with a therapist who said my ex is trying to alleviate her guilt by acting like she still cares about me. She also recommended I give myself space to recognize the loss of all that I had invested in the relationship. I'm trying to be patient with myself, exercise daily, and get out and see friends more. But I'm also sick of constantly feeling in pain and confused. How could someone I love with my whole heart hurt me in such a cruel way? I can't wrap my head around it. At this point, I think no contact may be the best move, but I'm not sure I'm ready to cut her off completely. Every time I think about her, it hurts, but my gut is telling me to preserve what small connection we still have. Even after everything she did, I don't want to say goodbye forever. These strong conflicting feelings of hate and love are really wearing me down. I wish I could get to the point of indifference about my ex, but that feels so far away right now. Advice would be greatly appreciated. All right, we'll get some advice from the community. Abo Gandara Park says, I think you literally have to take it one day at a time, and in the meantime, have good friends by your side who will help you through the situation. Winterfront 1431 says, 100% this, and block her, throw her crap outside. Savage Velocity quickly joins the conversation. It's a sad situation, but keeping her in your life will only prolong and magnify the pain. She was someone you saw a future with, but that reality no longer exists. She is toxic to your soul at the moment, and the sooner you wean yourself off her completely, the healthier it'll be. It's not an easy habit to break. Your heart and mind have been wired to think of her as special or whatever. She's not. Far from it. She's poison. Gather up all your strength and focus on forgetting about her. Concentrate on yourself. Work out. Do things that interest you. See friends. Date if you feel up to it. F her and forget her. It hurts every time you think about her. Let her go. Why do this to yourself? Your therapist speaks the truth. You need to distance yourself from it all. To remain in contact with her is a disservice to yourself. Like the comment said, the future you envisioned with her no longer exists. Time to live in the present. What do you think? Is no contact best? Should OP try to remain friends? What's OP's ex's motive? Thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We don't want you to miss it. See you next time.